So there are legal questions and there are political questions. How will this new political fallout play into Mrs. Clinton's chances of winning the White House? Joining me now, Stirewalt, co-host of Perino and Stirewalt. I'll tell you what, it's on Sunday nights. And Howie Carr, host of Media Buzz. And there's news breaking right now, which is actually really interesting and good stuff. This is from Director Comey. This is a Fox News exclusive. It's an internal memo obtained by Fox News that just posted. It's a memo from him to his FBI staffers saying the election and timing of it required disclosure of the renewed probe, saying he had to do it because of the political sensitivity that he was facing and the country was facing with this election. Man. This is a quote. Again, this is FoxNews.com reporting this exclusively. Quote, "Of course, we don't ordinarily tell Congress about ongoing investigations, but here I felt an obligation to do so, given that I testified repeatedly in recent months that our investigation was completed," he wrote, Comey. "I also think it would be misleading to the American people were we not to supplement the record. At the same time, however, given that we do not know the significance of this newly discovered collection of emails, I don't want to create a misleading impression. In trying to strike that balance in a brief letter and in the middle of an election season, there is significant risk of being misunderstood, but I wanted you to hear it directly from me."
Man.
Wow.
Wow.
Chris.
Holy crocodile.
I mean, right? I was like, I can't quite get my arms around what the hell is happening. Like, this is... What the hell is happening?
So we've never been here before.
No.
This is the first time that in the history of the Republic, because in the old days, a lot of weird stuff used to happen, but in the history of the Republic, since we had an FBI, we've never had this, that the federal police are involved in a presidential election to this degree. My job with you and with the viewers and with everybody else is to be an analyst of data. I tell you what the polls say, what's going to happen. I got to tell you, just as a citizen, I'm a little heartbroken tonight because I've watched now Democrats decry the FBI. And you hear in James Comey's email here, I'm trying to hold it together. I'm trying to keep it together. I'm under tremendous pressure from the Congress. I want to keep this together. And I'm in the same election cycle when I've heard Republicans cheer again and again for the Kremlin to be involved on the other side. And I say, at what point does politics stop at the water's edge? At what point does this begin to be about America and not about winning this election? And as I listen to these Democrats decry James Comey in doing this, and I hear a man saying in this email that you just wrote, hold together, please stay with me so that we can try to prosecute justice in an appropriate way, I am worried. This worries me.
Howie, I'll tell you that, you know, my kids are little. They're 7, 5, and 3. And I wasn't going to work tonight. I was going to take a night off and be with them, but this broke, and I said I got to go in. I was trying to explain to them why I have to go in terms a 7- and a 5-year-old can understand. My 3-year-old was, you know, off breaking stuff. And my 5-year-old daughter and my 7-year-old son looked at me and said, "So is Hillary Clinton going to go to jail?" And then they said, "What if she wins the presidency and then she goes to jail? Then what?" I mean, these are actual questions that people now need to ask.
It is absolutely surreal. And when you throw in the weird Anthony Weiner sexting angle, it takes it to the level of, you know, a really bizarre Hollywood movie that would never get made because it would be so unrealistic. But look, this is indeed a bombshell. We don't know whether it's a nuclear bomb. We just in that memo from James Comey, we're looking into it. We don't know what we have. We don't know how relevant it is. But it really caps the worst week of Hillary Clinton's general election campaign, coming after the WikiLeaks disclosure. And you got to say this, you know, if it turns out to be a nothing burger, it is a gift from the political gods to Donald Trump, who will keep hammering this. And it really strikes at Hillary Clinton's Achilles heel, because what's her Achilles heel? It's 2/3 of the public doesn't think she's honest and trustworthy.
It's true, and it does bear mentioning. We don't know whether it's a bombshell yet. If it is all duplicates, that's a different story.
Right. And that's why Democrats are mad, is because with 11 days to go, if this just is hanging fire for 11 days, and because they're obviously not going to come to a conclusion in 11 days. There's no way that an FBI investigation into Anthony Weiner...
No, it's not going to get resolved, but does it change the election? Could it change this election?
Well, right now it's doing one important thing, which is it's making Republicans feel better, like they could win. Whether this transitions into next week and it convinces persuadable voters that this is actually happening, who knows?
Howie,
that's why we're here.
Last question to you. Does it change the election?
It possibly could, and for all of the prognosticators who came on the air a week ago and said, look at the polls, this is over, who's going to be in Hillary Clinton's cabinet? I remember watching then. Stuff happens in the presidential campaign in the last 2 weeks. We've never quite seen anything quite like this. But who knows how this will affect the polls? It certainly makes it seem like a much more competitive race than it did this morning.
Wow. Great to see you both.
You bet.
Thanks, Megan.